What's good, guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we're taking a look back at these bad boys right here. This is the Nike LeBron 11. They were awesome when they originally released, but are they still awesome now? First things first, big thank you to everybody over at AWOL. They're a sneaker shop over on the East Coast. They were the ones that sent these guys my way just as a nice token of appreciation and as a gift. So I gotta say thank you. They're not available. They just had a pair and they sent them to me, so that was awesome. Secondly, these things are better than I remember, which is kind of rare when we're talking about performance basketball sneakers. It could also be because I'm a little fatter now, but I mean, hey, you never know. No, for real, because the cushion didn't bother me like it did back then.
The cushion bothered you then?
The cushion was like too much cushion back then, and like now, like I don't feel like I'm like, it could just be because it's old, but it could also be because I'm fat.
Do you feel like it absorbs you more now?
Nah, like it's like not too much. Like before, like I felt like it's too mushy, but like now, like it feels just bouncy. It just feels good. You know what I mean? No? You don't know what I mean?
No, I get that.
I don't know. It's kind of fat.
You're not.
Okay. So the traction was what I remembered. Back then it wasn't like fantastic or anything, but it did get the job done and it did it really well. Same thing goes here. If dust gets clogged up in there, all you gotta do is wipe it clean. They worked well indoors and outdoors, which I was surprised with. The outsole is on the thin side, so if you're wearing them primarily outdoors, expect them to wear down sooner than later. Now the cushion on these guys is a drop-in midsole. Back when these originally released, drop-in midsoles were kind of new. And at the time, this was the best one that we've ever seen as far as like what it actually offers you. Normally you get Lunar, and sometimes you would get like a firmer foam with some Zoom Air, especially if we're talking about the Kobe 8. The Kobe 7 actually gave you two different options, which was really dope. But these guys right here kind of combined those two options. It gave you Lunar foam, which was really soft and bouncy, and then it got full length Zoom in there, which was just as bouncy. And I remember back in the day when I first wore these, I was like, man, like this is almost like too much cushion. You feel like you're sinking a little bit. And so it took these guys a little bit of time to break in before I was able to, you know, kind of feel comfortable in them. Now though, like I said before, kind of fat now. So I don't know if it's just that my weight is like compressing it a little bit more than it did back then, but for whatever reason, I just feel like this is super comfortable and I really like this setup, especially if we're comparing this to the new setup, which is that exposed max zoom. Those almost feel a little bit too much now, and these guys are a little bit more subdued. So I think that's pretty interesting that they've kind of like kept on beefing up the cushion. Meanwhile, this guy right here is almost a perfect balance of both, where I did not feel like that back in the day. When did this shoe release?
If it's the 11, then it would be
2013? That's forever and a day ago. I am fatter than I was back then. I weigh more. Sorry. Politically correct.
You're not fat.
I weigh more. Just saying. Now, my favorite thing about these drop-ins is that you can use them not just in this shoe, which is the shoe that it was intended for, but you can use them pretty much in any shoe that allows a drop-in midsole. There are some lower budget team models that do that, most notably the Kobe, the Mamba Instinct, the Mamba Mentality, shoes like that. But these guys right here are some of my favorites. You got the Kobe 11, the new NXT 360 with the Flyknit, and then one of my favorites of all time, the Kobe 8. Missing is the Kobe 9. I don't know where they are. They're, oh, never mind, they're right on the shelf there. I just didn't see them. Whoops. No, it's fine. I'm a dumb.
The ones that are like sitting.
Yeah, the ones that are like bright teal, like right there. Yeah, the ones that were next to the Kobe 8s, like directly right next to. Yes, that's them. But anyways, what I like about these is that you can take this and put it in those. So if you don't like the Foamposite on these, which is a little bit restrictive, all you gotta do is slap it in something like this that feels a little bit more free, and you've got tons of cushion with the upper that you like, and possibly the traction that you prefer as well. Now the materials on these guys are Foamposite. I think that these and the LeBron 4s are the two models that we've seen Foamposite on a LeBron shoe. I never played in the 4s. They were really, really clunky to me. They kind of have a similar setup where you got a really thick insole in there and all that kind of good stuff. But these guys right here, they are, I don't even know how to explain it. Hold on, give me a second.
6 hours later.
But they flex a lot better than something like this. Very similar setups, but obviously there's a huge generational gap between the two. The midsoles are both internal. The main difference is that you can remove it on this guy. But in terms of overall flexibility and mobility, these guys right here have something like this beat. So it's kind of interesting to see basically how Foamposite has evolved over the years. They use it more strategically now rather than all over the place. Containment on them is fantastic, most notably because you can't move too well. So you have all of those Foamposite panels, and even though they are pretty flexible, the areas that they do wrap around your foot are like super snug, and they contain almost too much. But with some break-in time, you know, it's not that bad. Like I said, especially if you're comparing it to the Foamposite Pro or Foamposite 1. Something like this is just a lot more forgiving, I guess. It takes a lot less time to break in than something like that. Now, as far as fit is concerned, these guys, they have always fit true to size, but they've always been very, very tight. And the same thing goes when I first put them on, they're almost suffocating. Once you wear them and break them in, they feel better, but anybody with a wide foot, you're probably gonna wanna go up half a size. Even some people with normal feet might wanna go up half a size just because this toe box especially, it's just really, really thin sitting. So if you were to just imagine that, that's not a ton of space above your toes. It's something that I actually personally like, but some people do not. The support is pretty decent. I'm not gonna say it's like anything crazy. It's got your standard features on there. You got the outrigger here, which is great. You got a TPU mid shank. You got a TPU midfoot. You have a TPU midfoot shanks plate right there. I don't need you laughing.
You almost had it.
I know I almost had it. That's why I said You have a TPU midfoot support shank.
Shibuya.
Shaboing boing man. There's a TPU plate right there. It's for midfoot torsional support and rigidity, so it does its job. The one thing that I will say is that the heel area is kind of clunky. That's something that I'm not a huge fan of, but if you are a primary forefoot player, you're not going to notice it too much. And then the overall support from the fit or that Foamposite, it pretty much doesn't move anywhere, so it's going to be good for that. Now that pretty much takes care of it for the kind of like throwback retro review on the Nike LeBron 11. I still think that they play really well today. This to me though is its best feature because you could take this and put it in something that you might want a little bit more, like a Kobe model. At least for me personally, I don't like all of the restriction that these guys offer, but I absolutely love the cushion to insert. You can find these for pretty decent prices depending on the colorway, so if you were in the market for one, I still recommend them even to this day. Let me know what you guys think about the Nike LeBron 11 down below. Do you still play in a pair? If so, what do you think about them? If you have played in a pair previously and you're comparing them to something a little bit more modern like the LeBron 15 or 16, let me know your thoughts down below as well. Big thank you to everybody over at AWOL for sending these my way. I greatly appreciate it. I miss these guys. I actually did not know that I missed them as much as I did until I got them back. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one.